Good afternoon and welcome to Sullivan Smart Sense. I'm your host, Heather Sullivan. Thanks so much for being with us. We know that gas prices continue to be astronomically high. We've seen a little bit of improvement in some of the numbers, but we know they're still really high. It's really hard, and it's making things hard for families to make those ends meet with gas prices being so high. So today, that is our focus. We are going to help you cut down your costs for gas, and we have one of the leading experts in how to do that. We're going to be joined by someone with GasBuddy, one of the most popular apps that can help you save a lot of money on gas. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Patrick DeHaan from GasBuddy. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Heather.
Well, first, let's just talk a little bit about what are your thoughts, your insights on how gas prices are going to look both in the near future and as we're going into the summer.
Well, I think we're shaping up for a little bit of a bumpy ride here this spring. Normally, there's some anticipation that we'll have a solid feel for where gas prices will be for really the entire summer. This year's obviously a lot different. We're still navigating kind of the hopefully closing innings of COVID, and that continues to cause price increases and decreases as COVID flares up, not so much in the US, but abroad as well. And of course, we have the Russia war in Ukraine, which is causing a lot of Western countries to restrict how much oil they're getting from Russia. So not only that, but we have the normal seasonal trends here in the US. Demand is starting to pick up steam. So price is already very high as a result of all of these factors, kind of this large imbalance between supply and demand. Part of it is COVID related. Part of it is because of the Russia war in Ukraine. But it's going to be a bumpy, but probably expensive summer to fill your tank.
How much can you give any kind of estimates on like how much more or how the prices might compare to what we're paying now?
Well, prices today about $3.75 a gallon across the Houston metro area. We could go a little bit lower or we could go even higher. So I would give you a range of anywhere from $3.50, maybe as high as $4.25 if things don't go well. Somewhere between that high and low for the course of the summer.
Okay, that's a painful number.
Yeah, it really is.
Especially as everybody wants to hit the road and do some summer driving, summer trips and things like that. So first, let's just get into talking a little bit about GasBuddy, how the app works for anyone who may not have tried it yet. Tell me a little bit about what GasBuddy is, how it works, and how it can help.
Well, GasBuddy is an app that you can download to your iPhone or Android device for free. You can turn your location on, and GasBuddy helps you find the lowest prices anywhere you may be. If in the US, we'll help you find low price in the US, and it works in Canada as well, all trying to help you save on how much you're putting into your tank. We also have things like a payments card that link to a checking account, and you can save up to 25 cents a gallon that way as well. So not only do we have the free app that anyone can use to see gas prices around them, but we have a payment link card as well that saves motorists on top of what they may be paying.
Well, let's kind of just go step by step through the app first. For someone who's just not used it before, what's the sort of the step by step of how you use it and how it works?
Well, it's really simple. Once you download it and, if you give us approval to use your GPS, it's terrific because we'll know right where you are and all of the gas prices all around you pop up. Either you can view them in a list form, or if you're traveling down the highway per se, you can see what's coming ahead of you. And I would encourage motorists to do just that. But then you can click on a station, you can see the price, you can see what the ratings and reviews are. You can find particular stations that have amenities. Say, for example, you have an RV, you're on a road trip, you need propane. The GasBuddy app will help you filter what stations offer propane, things like car repairs, car washes, almost anything that a station offers, you can filter in the app so you can find a station that has those amenities.
I've played with it a little bit, and I already know the answer to my next question because I've seen the variances. But someone might, think, oh, well, the gas prices are pretty similar from place to place. But talk a little bit about just when you do put in your zip code or it sees where you are, what kind of a variance you usually see from gas station to gas station.
It can be incredible. In fact, when you click Find Gas in the app, that's the first thing you'll see on the app is a button that says Find Gas. Once you click that, at the top of the listings that come back at you, you're also going to very quickly see the range of prices in that area. And like you said, if you're in a big city, if you're right next to a state line, you might find a 70 to 80 cent a gallon spread between the lowest station in your vicinity and the highest price. And that kind of very quickly gives you an idea of, what the opportunity is to save. And you might see a stations right now, down the street, you might say, wow, this low price I'm seeing here is 30 cents lower. So it gives you some context into what kind of prices are the best and worst in the area.
What are your thoughts on how far do you want to drive to get the lowest price when it's just, becomes not really practical?
Yeah, the $1 million question. It all varies. If you're on a road trip, obviously you're going to want to stay close to the highway. And so I think the general rule of thumb is if you're in a car, you need to save at least a penny per gallon for every mile you drive out of your way. And if you're in an SUV, which is less fuel efficient, you need to save at least double that, 2 cents per mile that you drive out of your way. But I think the beauty of the GasBuddy app is instead of driving out of your way, which is probably a waste of fuel and not a great idea, I use it as a way that I can just shift the route I need to take from point A to point B and find those low prices.
Can it help you shift that route? Will it show you sort of how to get there and still get to where you're going?
Yeah, absolutely. There are ways that you can plug in the destination address. If instead of searching for an area with a zip code, you can also type in the app where you'd like to go. And the GasBuddy app will show you prices at stations all along that route. So if you're doing an extreme road trip from New York to LA, you'll see along the entire route gas prices at stations that are very close to where you're going.
And let's talk a little bit about days of the week, because I've seen you report on best and worst days of the week to buy gas. But it also looks like it varies from year to year or period to period or region to region. So how do we figure out what are the best days?
Yeah, it varies significantly from state to state, region to region, year to year, and even situation to situation. Like right now, for example, there's maybe not a best day because of all of the things going on that are driving prices up. But generally speaking, if you were to fill up earlier in the week in most states, you'll come out a little bit ahead. And like I said, the situation can change if prices are spiking. Obviously, sooner is better than later. And right now, later is better than sooner because prices have been coming down for the last few weeks. But generally speaking, energy markets are not open over the course of the weekend. And so early in the week, we tend to see not only lower traffic at stations, but lower prices. And so depending on where you are, Monday, Tuesday, that kind of time frame tends to be not only less busy, but slightly better prices.
What are your thoughts on, this latest announcement about lifting the ban on E15 during the summer months? It's usually banned. Sorry, my thing goes black every now and then. That's the beauty of doing this live. But they're talking about lifting the ban on E15. Usually in the summer it's banned because it does create a bit more smog. But what are your thoughts on the potential savings versus will E15 work well with my car kind of thing? What are your thoughts about lifting that ban?
Well, I think giving consumers an option for what is generally a lower price fuel than what many Americans are filling up with is not a bad idea. I might not fill up with it. You don't have to, but the option is there. And again, it comes down to the details. A lot of newer cars can take E15. They're approved for use. My specific vehicle, a 2018, is not approved for use with E15, but it's also a fuel that generally is 5 to 10 cents a gallon cheaper than regular gasoline, which by the way has up to 10% ethanol. So a little bit more ethanol in your fuel can actually reduce prices, but it's up to the user to make sure that your vehicle's approved. Now, the EPA has said that it's safe to use in vehicles 2001 and newer, but if you're under a new vehicle warranty, you'll want to check with your manufacturer and your owner's manual to make sure you can use it. A lot of new manufacturers do say that you can use it, but again, check your own vehicle manual.
I've read some of the data from the energy department saying that it has slightly lower miles per gallon. Do you still feel that it might be advantageous in terms of the savings?
Well, it certainly can be. There's some areas I've seen Minnesota, Iowa, where E15 is a 40-cent discount to regular gasoline. And so there absolutely, it makes a huge difference. Now, as you mentioned, there is a slight, maybe 1 to 2% reduction in fuel efficiency when you're running E15 because E15 has a little bit less energy content. But like I said, I think that if you get a savings that is in excess of 10 cents a gallon, the loss in fuel efficiency is easily made up for the fact that this is a 10 cent a gallon or even more cheaper fuel.
Okay. Well, let's get back to GasBuddy because you guys have this relatively new feature now where consumers can pay for their gas through GasBuddy. So talk to me about how that works and how that can help people save even more.
Well, yeah, this Pay with GasBuddy card is not a credit card. It links to a checking account. And because there are lower interchange fees with that transaction, we pass that along to to motorists in the form of at least a 3 cent a gallon discount. But many stations are starting to opt into what we call deal alerts, where they may offer a targeted deal of savings up to 25 cents a gallon for users. And all they have to do is click the app where it says activate that offer. And then they use their GasBuddy card to complete the transaction. And instead of paying the higher price at the pump, we take less money out of your account to reflect the savings. And that is incredibly useful. In fact, some areas I've seen the full 25 cent a gallon discount. But even if you're not getting finding a station with a 25 cent discount, every day you're getting at least a 3 cent a gallon discount.
Do the deal alerts, do those pop up on the screen just like the other stations with the prices?
Yeah, they do. They pop up in red and it will say deal at that station, and you can click through, and very quickly, if you're looking at the map of the GasBuddy app, you'll see all of those deal prices reflected with a red banner that says deal. So you'll know very quickly what stations have deals and what stations may not.
You mentioned that it links to a checking account for anyone who might have any questions or concerns about the safety of that. What's sort of the protocol there?
Well, we follow the industry trends. We have a third party that verifies your banking information called Plaid. Plaid is used by basically any app that plugs in a checking account and links to them. And so Plaid has extremely high encryption. And so that's how we make sure that the data is staying safe. It does not touch the GasBuddy side. We simply make the connection that Plaid authorizes.
Okay, great. Are there any other features with the GasBuddy that can help people save?
Well, again, I think it comes down to that. We've actually just issued a new MasterCard product as well, a GasBuddy branded MasterCard that will offer savings as well. So between that and the app, I think you've got quite a few bases covered.
Great. Do you have any tips in terms of just driving habits that you feel will help people kind of cut down on their usage as well?
Well, it's certainly tough to do, slowing down, leaving early, given the amount of stress that I think most Americans are dealing with. But doing that is just the recipe for getting far better fuel efficiency. Slowing down in the interstate by anywhere from 5 to 10 miles an hour will dramatically increase fuel efficiency by 10% or more, especially if you slow it down even beyond that. There's a huge potential for basically saving up to 75 cents a gallon just by driving more fuel efficiently. And that's what I did. Over the course of 2 tanks, I basically went 55 instead of 65, and my miles per gallon went from 27 up to 37, which is the equivalent of 75 cents a gallon off. And I think most of us would probably be really interested to hear how we can save 75 cents a gallon.
That's huge. That's really fantastic. Okay,
Yeah.
well, my final question as we wrap things up. You talked a little bit about what we can expect moving forward. I'm hoping you can leave us with a little light at the end of the tunnel, but any long-term thoughts on when these prices, will they ever normalize, do you think? Will we ever go back to the days that we used to know?
Well, maybe not quite there, but keep in mind, oil is very much a boom bust cycle. Right now, we're in the boom period. Of course, prior to this, we're kind of in a bust cycle where prices were lower. They say that the best cure for high prices is high prices, because that is going to incentivize additional oil production that will eventually lead to lower prices. So just be patient. And of course, COVID changed things in a significant way. Not only are we going to see it take time for oil companies to increase production, but of course, for things to kind of go back to normal, to pre-COVID, is going to take time as well.
Okay. Patrick DeHaan with GasBuddy, thanks so much for being with us. This is some really useful insight. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Okay, and thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. Of course, feel free to contact me if you have any questions about saving money on anything. Every week we meet back here to talk about different ways to help you save money and make ends meet, make things a little bit easier as we go through this period of high inflation. So just keep those questions and topics coming, and we will see you next time.